All right, friends. So today we are talking about how to eat healthy on a budget. There's also going to be some tips in here about exercise as well. This is a presentation that I gave this week to our local seniors group. So they have a monthly luncheon and people will come and talk about all different types of topics. And one of my friends said, "Hey, would you like to come talk to them about health and nutrition?" I said, "Absolutely." So put this together. It's pretty general information, but I think it also has a few little nuggets in here that are good reminders, or maybe things that you haven't thought of on how to save money when you are trying to be healthy. Because there is a myth out there that it's more expensive to eat healthy. And I can probably prove you wrong. If we went to the grocery store and we both got a cart of groceries, healthy and non healthy, I bet you mine would be less just because, yes, there are healthy foods that are expensive, absolutely, but there are also a lot of healthy foods that aren't. And so it's just kind of knowing what to choose that is going to help your money go further. So diving in. If you don't know me, my name is Becky Bridgham. This is my family. And I actually put a picture of my grandma on this slide because, again, I was sharing this with a group of senior folks. And so I wanted to share a story about my grandma and kind of how she was instrumental in me really caring about my health in general. So years ago, I met my husband in college, and those are our four kiddos there. And but in college, I remember it was like a lazy afternoon or whatnot. I was chatting with my grandma on the phone, and it was one of those moments you didn't know was special until later. And we're just talking about all the things, how she grew up, and I think I was like cleaning my room, so you're just kind of like doing things. And I remember, asking her, like, "Grandma, you've had a pretty successful life, like, raised healthy kids, volunteered in the community. She worked, when that wasn't really even a thing, for her generation. She was pretty successful in sales and just really someone that I admire." And I remember asking her, "Grandma, if you could do anything differently, what would you do?" And she said, "You know what? I would be skinny." And I kind of had a chuckle, but what she was saying, and she said this was, she was heavier. She wasn't like super heavy, but she was heavy enough that it took a toll on her body. And she said being heavy made everything harder. Moving around, she had in her knees replaced. Her health declined, as she got older. And she said, if I go back, I would basically, in her words, take better care of myself and be skinnier. So the funny thing is, in my 20s, I really wanted to be skinny. I mean, I was in that generation where we ate 1,100 calories and we, did jazzercise and VHS tapes to try to be as small as possible. Then I realized, well, that wasn't necessarily the route I wanted to take. So in my 30s, I really wanted to be strong. I got into weightlifting, got into running, all the different types of exercise that give you a better picture of health rather than just trying to be as small as possible. And then in my 40s, as you see in this picture, I have three teenagers and a baby. So, surprise baby at age 42, that really changed my perspective on my health. And it wasn't about being skinny, it wasn't about being strong. It was about living as long as I can and living long well. So this is how I help. Some of you are in my community, you already know this, but I do help people lose weight. I help them hit non-scale goals, and I also teach fitness classes in my home. So I do nutrition coaching, I do actual physical coaching, I also teach yoga, very big into community. If there's any pieces of these equations that you need help with, definitely reach out to me after and I can give you more information on that. So let's dive into why does nutrition and exercise matter? Then we're going to get into the budget thing. So we want to take care of ourselves so we can have strong bodies, clear minds, and longevity, which means we want to live a long time. But the goal is not just to live longer, we want to live longer in good health. One of the older ladies that I met this week, she said, what's the good of living to 100 if you feel terrible? And exactly, that is the point. We want to live long and in good health and in good energy. Obviously, things will shift and change as we get old. I mean, our bodies, after 50, 60, 70 years, they're different than they were in our 20s. And that's okay. We can still utilize what we're eating, how we're moving, what we're drinking, all of our stress management principles to live that long, healthy life. And we can do that without breaking the bank. So here's a couple tips to eating well on a budget. First of all, you have to know your budget. There's a lot of people that they might think they're overspending or they might think they're not overspending, but they don't even know what they're spending. So a big first tip is know what your grocery budget is. Know how much you make. And this is just a good financial tip. Know how much money you have coming in. Know how much, your mortgage, your insurance, your car payment, your phone, all your expenses. And you should have a clear goal for what you're spending on, not just groceries, but eating out as well. The other thing people say, well, groceries are so expensive, but if you're eating out lunch every day, that's hundreds of dollars. If you're grabbing coffee consistently, and I'm all for a sweet treat here and there, going out to eat as a social thing, treating your family to ice cream. It's not that you can't eat out, but you should know where your money's going. So if you want to eat on a budget, number one, grab a budget, create one for you. And that will also help you break it down by week. And we're going to go into that, some tips on how to keep your weekly grocery budget down. But remember, simple is better. The simpler you eat, the less money you're going to have to spend on it. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be super boring, right? But there's plenty of different fruits, plenty of different vegetables, great whole grains and lean proteins that you don't have to eat just chicken. You don't have to just eat apples. You have a huge variety. And that's like when I do nutrition coaching with people, I always tell them, you don't have to eat food that you don't like to be healthy, because there's so many good foods out there that you probably do like, that's what we're going to put in your plan. That's what we're going to have you to eat more often. Avoiding the highly processed, prepackaged meals and snacks. I mean, I have a family of six. I have three teenagers and a baby. Of course, we have cheese balls in our house. Of course, we have granola bars. Convenience food have their place, but you want to make sure that you're leaning on the whole food options the majority of the time, and you're using those as a supplement, right? If you're only eating processed foods, one, they're not filling, they're not good for you, and they're more expensive. Another tip is to consider buying frozen vegetables and fruits. They're way cheaper, they last longer, they don't go bad, and they're actually just as, if not better, nutrition wise than fresh. So we buy big bags of frozen strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, frozen broccoli, cauliflower, all those for pennies as compared to how much I would have to spend on fresh. Now, sometimes fresh is maybe what you need for your recipe or what how you want to eat it. You want to dip carrots, not just steam them. So there's a place for both. But if you're really trying to save money and you want to increase your fruits and vegetables, frozen are a great option. And then buying in bulk. We are a Sam's Club family. I know there's Costco people out there, BJ's for people in the Northeast. Bulk can be very helpful to make your money go further if it's things that you're going to eat a lot of or use a lot of, say toilet paper. The example that I like to give is cheese sticks. I can go buy 10 cheese sticks for $7 at Walmart or Target, or I can go buy 30 cheese sticks for $11 at Sam's. So for a family that eats a lot of cheese sticks, it just only makes sense to buy them at Sam's Club. Now, if you are one or two family, live by yourself, and you're not going to eat 30 cheese sticks, don't buy them, because we're going to talk about this. You don't want to buy healthy food just because you think it's healthy and not eat it, because that's a waste of money too. Okay. So shopping strategies, make a list. If you have a grocery budget, you're just like, okay, my grocery budget, just throwing a number out there, is $350 a week. You should know about how much food you're going to get for $350. And now in this economy, that is less food, right? But the tricky thing is, when you are trying to lose weight and you're trying to eat healthier, sometimes eating less is part of that equation. So when you're eating less, you actually should be buying less. So that will actually save you money in the long run too. But making a plan of, okay, here's my $350 budget. Here's the foods that I typically want to eat. I'm going to have these few meals for dinner. I'm going to pack these things for lunch. And one of my biggest tips that helps our family a ton is using online ordering ahead of time. So a lot of stores, I know where we live, we have King Supers, but I know Target does it, Walmart does it. I'm sure your local grocery store probably also does it, where you can order your food on an app or a website. You put it all in your cart. Most of the time, if you're spending over like $30, there's no fee for them to do this. And then you will just go drive up and you pick up your food. Now, one, that's super convenient. It's saving you time. It reduces the impulse buy of when you're, trucking your cart through the grocery store and you're like, oh, actually, I do want some Doritos. Oh, actually, I do want some chocolate gummy bears. It reduces the impulse buy, but it also allows you to stick to your budget. So say, for example, your budget is $350. You put everything in your cart online and it's 370. Well, guess what? You can go back in that cart and take a couple things out that, okay, maybe we don't need this week, or maybe I'll just get one can of baked beans instead of two, whatever it is. It really helps you stick to your budget. And again, it saves you time. It also reduces buying things you don't need, in the sense of, if I don't know if you've ever been like rolling through the grocery store and you're like, oh, do we need pancake syrup? I'm not really sure. Well, let me just grab one anyway. You get home, you already have pancake syrup. You didn't have to buy it. When you're at home doing your online order, you can just open up the pantry door and go, oh, we already have it, don't need it. So that to me is what has been a game changer. I know that's been around for a few years now. We use it faithfully. And I do find that, there is a week where I don't use it and I go to the store, I definitely spend more. I forget things. And it is harder to stay in budget, because then you're surprised when you go to the checkout. You don't know how much it's going to be. When you put it all in your cart online, you know exactly how much it's going to be. So that's the budgeting tip. But also shopping the edge of the store first. So if you do have to go in your store physically, the edge of the store. So if you think about the perimeter of your grocery store, is typically your healthiest options. That's where the deli is. That's where the vegetables are. That's where the breads and the cold goods, right? Those are the things you want to lean on first. Those middle aisles are all those prepackaged food. Now, that's not to say that there aren't good foods in those middle aisles, but there's a lot more things you don't need in there. Okay, buy seasonal. So the way our food is processed now, we can pretty much get strawberries all year long. But there's certain seasons where strawberries are way cheaper than others. And so, if you like strawberries, lean on to those seasonal foods, because you're going to get more of them for your money. Store brands such as generics like, Great Value or Market Pantry and Target and Walmart, they are typically just as good as regular, name brands. A lot of times they're processed in the exact same way. So save yourself 50 cents, a dollar. It all adds up. When it's things that don't matter to you. Like for us, we buy generic pasta. My kids don't care, but I am not allowed to buy generic ketchup because they would basically shoot me. They're like, Heinz all the way. No, Target brand ketchup, please. Shop sales, use coupons. A lot of places now even have digital coupons, so you're not even having to, like, I don't even know if people clip actual paper coupons. Every once in a while, you might get some in the mail from your grocery store, but you can also use those digital coupons as well. And then for, again, food items that you are going to use a lot of, like say oatmeal, rice, things like that, buying in bulk will definitely save you money as well. All right, so best grocery items for seniors. So this was designed for a senior group, but this applies to everyone. The healthiest foods you are actually going to eat are the ones that I want you to buy. So the example is, you go to the grocery store or you do your order, like, I'm going to eat healthy this week. I'm going to have a salad every day. So you buy salad. Then Monday comes, like, nah, not feeling salad. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Friday, your salad's bad, and you're just like, I just didn't want to eat it. But if you know, okay, you end up throwing away the salad and you've wasted your $7 on your salad. So I would rather you lean on foods that you know you're going to like and you're going to want to eat. Now, of course, tastes are going to change every once in a while. But if you know, like, you don't like fish, don't buy fish. People are like, oh, fish is so healthy. But if you don't like it, don't buy it. You're wasting your money. Leaning on those proteins, economical ones are canned tuna, eggs, chicken, Greek yogurt, beans. Peanut butter is actually more of a fat source, but it does have protein in it. But again, leaning on those foods that you like. We eat a lot of ground beef, lean ground beef, chicken, ground turkey. We eat a lot of deli meat in our house for lunches and convenience. All of those are good choices. Grains, you want to go whole grains, so oats, quinoa, brown rice, whole grain pasta, whole wheat bread. The benefit to the whole grains is you're getting more fiber, and so it's going to be more filling. So you're going to actually eat less, and the less you eat, the less you're spending. Fruits and vegetables, we talked about that. Get the ones that you like. So one of my clients this week, mentioned, she's like, I don't want to eat the same thing all the time. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to eat the same thing all the time. But once you kind of make your meal plan, what fits into your goals, you might say, okay, I'm going to have a piece of fruit every day for my snack. Well, that can be all different types of fruit. Maybe buy 3 apples, 3 pears, and 3 bananas. Every day you could have something different. You're still sticking to your plan, but you're also saving money because you're not buying things that you're going to throw away. Healthy fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. Again, what you see on here is simple food that's going to fill you up, be delicious. And again, all of these you can add spices that are typically last forever in your pantry. Change up the variety. One day you can put some garlic, one day you can put some, I don't know, cilantro, whatever it is that you prefer, that will help give some variety within some of these basic food groups. Okay, so why do we want to lean on certain foods for body and brain function? Right. For body strength, especially as we get older, we need those lean proteins, calcium rich foods, healthy fats. One of the things that I highly recommend, and I will talk a little bit about supplements at the end, is our bodies need omega 3s. And as Americans in our diet, we do not get enough. So, this is where sometimes your food might not be giving you what you need, and you want to supplement in with like a supplement. So, that, for example, those healthy fats, you can be eating some, but you might want to supplement with, say, an omega-3 pill or gel. They even have gummies, some companies. For brain function, again, those omega-3s, antioxidants. So this is where we want to have that variety: berries, leafy greens, nuts. B vitamins are great for brain function. So eggs, cereals, spinach, and hydration. This is one thing. A lot of times we think we're hungry when we're actually just thirsty. And water, guess what? For the most part, is free. I mean, yes, you pay your water bill, but you're only drinking so much. And water is something that, instead of buying soda or pop or juice or, iced coffee or whatnot, water is basically the cheapest thing you can drink. And it's the thing we need the most of. So don't forget to add that in as well. All right, so here's a sample meal plan. Really simple, just some general ideas of how you can take inexpensive foods, put them into your meal plan. And again, then you could always eat on repeat and change it up with some variety. Breakfast, oatmeal and banana, a little bit of peanut butter. Lunch, tuna, whole wheat bread, or whole wheat crackers. Dinner, stir fry with vegetables and rice. I mean, honestly, to buy some chicken, frozen mixed vegetables, and brown rice is probably under $10. That's less than you're going to pay for one meal out at McDonald's. So sometimes you'll look at the differences in price and think, oh, well, food is so expensive, chicken is so expensive, but then not think anything of going and spending $8 on a coffee. So sometimes really getting real with what you're spending your money on can show you might actually have more room in your budget for good, healthy food if you cut out some of the impulse buying or convenience meals. Day 2, scrambled eggs, throw some spinach in there with some whole wheat toast. I eat eggs and toast almost every day. Lunch, lentil soup. This is where sometimes a convenience option, like a canned soup, canned black beans, they do have good choices. You might have to hunt a little bit for the ones that are not high calorie or not. A lot of canned stuff is going to have some sodium in it, but in a pinch, this is also something good to have in your pantry as a go-to. Baked chicken with sweet potatoes and green beans for dinner. One of the things that we eat a lot in our house is roasted chicken because it's so easy. Honestly, I cut up the chicken, I put it on a sheet pan, some olive oil spray, salt, pepper, any kind of seasoning that I want. Throw it in the oven and roast it till it's done. It's so easy, and you could put potatoes with it. You can put vegetables with it. You can put broccoli with it. And again, it's super healthy, super convenient to cook, and is very, very good for you. All right, day 3, Greek yogurt with mixed berries. Greek yogurt is a item that you can definitely lean on. They do sell individual cups, but the tubs of Greek yogurt are a great choice. You'll probably get, double the amount of servings for the same price. And it's such a good choice for your gut and for your budget. Lunch, whole wheat wrap with hummus and turkey. A dinner, spaghetti with marinara sauce, ground turkey, and a side salad. So one of the things I want to remind you is that carbs are not bad. A lot of times people will try to be healthy. They'll try to lose weight. And like, oh, I need to cut out all carbs. I need to eat nothing. And I need to go run a marathon. No, your body needs carbs. We just want to make sure that we're having the appropriate amount of them. And again, leaning as simple as possible. So a serving of whole wheat pasta with sauce is a great choice. A bag of potato chips, not so much. So there's definitely differences in our food choice. So this is just a sample list of all those grocery items that would be in that meal plan. Again, I gave this out as a resource to the seniors that were there. All right, staying active on a budget. So we've kind of talked a little bit about the food piece. Again, making a budget, sticking to it, pre-planning your meals, not just winging it at the grocery store, potentially pre-ordering it online before you get there, choosing simple, taking about the junk out of your cart and adding in the good stuff. It's going to go way further. So staying active on a budget, movement is super important, especially as we age, for so many reasons. I think, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but we need to keep our muscle, we need to keep our heart healthy, we need to keep our lungs moving. And a lot of that is just being consistent. The number one thing I recommend to everyone is make sure you have a step goal. Walking is free. It's easy. Anyone at any size can do it, and it can be challenging. A lot of times, if my clients are at a plateau, we increase their steps. We don't reduce their food. We don't add in more workouts. We just increase their movement and they break those plateaus. So, number one thing you want to focus on is your steps. You can do that using a smartwatch. You can do that using your phone. You can get a simple pedometer. I think my husband got one off of Amazon for like $20. So, again, not a big spend, but it will help you with your overall movement. Overall steps matter more than your exercising because it's your overall movement for the day. So the example I love to use is someone who goes to the gym to do a 30-minute workout. They go and they sit at a desk all day long. Their steps for the whole day might be 3,000 steps, as opposed to someone who is up and about moving around. Their steps might be 10,000 steps, and they didn't go work out that day, but they've had so much movement. Who do you think is burning more calories? It's the person who is moving more. So that's why steps are a great metric to focus on. Okay, other free options, YouTube videos all over the internet. I mean, there's so many out there. Pick your poison, right? There's ones for seniors, there's ones for yoga, there's one for HIIT training. Anything you want to find, you can find a free video on YouTube. Okay. And they're also a good way to try out different things without committing to a gym or a membership. And again, creating a walking group would be awesome because it's also getting you out, fresh air, vitamin D, great for mental health. And if you do it with other people, it's also very social, which we definitely need. Okay, low cost at home exercises, body weight. You can do that anywhere. That is push-ups, sit-ups, air squats, squats, chair stands, wall push-ups, marching in place, toe lifts, seated leg extensions. Again, these are things that you can find resources online for. But everyone has something that they can do. It's not what I can't do. Well, I can't do this. I can't go to the gym, or I can't run a marathon. Well, yeah, I can't do that either. But what can I do? So finding things that are good for you and your body that are, encouraging movement and also challenging. Okay, definitely you want to include stretching and flexibility, especially as we age. You feel stiffer. You want to make sure that you're opening up that body in what way feels good for you. So again, there's so many resources out there. Even in our community group, we have some yoga videos in there. But I always say stretching is intuitive. Your body knows how it wants to move. So even if you just stand up, pick your hands up high, bend to one side, touch your toes, just move through what stretches feel good for what you need right that moment will do wonders. It doesn't have to be a set program. Again, just moving your body, strengthening and lengthening, and then incorporating movement into daily life. The more habitual it is, the better it's going to be. The more consistent you can be. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Not every day has to be an hour walk or 2 workouts, but the more movement, it's just good for you. It's not about checking a box. It's about creating that long, healthy life that we all want. All right, so here's a little recap of where to save and where to spend. So it's definitely want to save on groceries by buying the store brands, shopping sales, using a list, purchasing in bulk, purchasing those frozen fruits and vegetables. You can save on a gym membership by doing home workouts, using free resources, or starting community walking groups, doing things at home on your own. And then where you do want to spend is on supplements wisely. Now, there's so many options when it comes to supplements. You could spend a fortune on them. And sometimes it's overwhelming. Like, do I need all this? The number one thing that I would definitely recommend everyone needs is a multivitamin, because the quality of our food, the way it's produced, the variety that we eat, we're not getting all the nutrients that we need in just our whole food. You can eat as healthy as you desire, but you're still going to have gaps. So that multivitamin is kind of fills in all the holes that you might have in your diet, and they're very inexpensive. The one that I use, I think, is $28. It's great. It's high quality, makes me feel amazing, gives me energy. The one I use M Factor Goddess from First Form. It actually helps with energy, balancing hormones, because it's designed for women specifically. There's also a men's version. But again, it's a $28 spend, and I'm probably saving way more than that on my groceries. So that's where I'm like, if you spend here, you have the budget to invest wisely in your supplements. So definitely a multivitamin. Omega 3s is definitely the second, because again, with our food and nutrition, we're just not getting them. And then you have other options, like if you are needing a protein powder, if you're needing collagen in your diet to hit your goals, those can be actually really economical. I mean, a tub of protein is going to give you 30 servings as opposed to, a thing of chicken is going to give you six. And so when you're looking at your budget as a whole, leave some space in there for the supplements that are going to help you get to your goal. Okay, so I got ahead of myself. Here are some of the ones that I would definitely recommend: the multivitamin, calcium, vitamin D. A lot of multivitamins have these inside, but if you find you're low in calcium or vitamin D, those are a secondary one you could add in. Omega 3s. Magnesium is great for sleep and for muscle recovery. Vitamin D12 and then greens and probiotics can help in digestion and gut health as well. So again, there's hundreds. There's so many that you can use, but if you want to prioritize the ones that make the most sense for you, these would be some of the ones that I would start with. Okay, so here's my contact information. If you don't know me, this is where you can find it all. You can always send me a message or comment on this video as well. But I'm going to open it up for any questions for the people who are here live. I will stop recording. But if you are listening to the video after the fact and you have questions, please just reach out. I'm happy to help. This is what I do. I love what I do. I love helping people. And I also love helping people save money. So one of the pieces of our testimony is my husband met in college. He was in the Air Force. We went, into the military, which is very secure. It's a sacrificial life, but you have a lot of security in the military. And then he decided to get out to go to become a chaplain, become a pastor. So for 3 years, we lived in a graduate school. Basically, him and I were both in school. We had two kids, and we were janitors. Like we literally had no money, and so we would get food from food banks and local churches, and we stretched every dollar we had. So we know what it's like to live on a budget and still want to feed your family well. We have been there, and now, even though I have the means, we have the means to buy supplements or to treat ourselves to some say fancier foods. I still don't want to spend money that I don't need to, right? Because then I could use that money on other things. So know your budget. If you have any questions at all, please reach out and I'd be happy to help.